Okay, so good morning and welcome back. I hope most of you have joined. We had a gap of 2 days, so we have done a lot of work, is what I hope. Yeah, many of you have sent me the concept map on the chapter on polynomials. Good. Those who have not done, please go through the concept maps, which is shared in your groups, and complete the work. Because I am not almost seeing you daily and we are away physically, please be a little more responsible and try to complete your work. You are getting help in various forms in the group. Please utilize it and see that you cope up with all the portions that you are lagging with. So whenever there are gaps on the classes, see that you complete your notes and you are up to date with your notes, because we will not have time further to go back and do these work later on. So please keep this in mind and be a little more serious about joining the classes as well as doing your work in time. So when you're joining, please mute your audios. Many of your audios are disturbing me. All right, now I think I'll share my screen and then go to the video directly. One video I wanted you to actually view it before coming to the class, but unfortunately, I think I was late in giving it to you. So I don't know why people get added like this. Okay, so that video I shall share it to you in the group. Apart from that, two more videos I shall be playing now, because we are the last class today. Even if the time is getting extended below, sorry, above your 12:45, don't bother about it. You will rejoin with the same link. Is that clear? So we will go to the screen share. I will do my first video. Please put on your microphones if required, because I don't know if the video will be audible. I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
Are special types of algebraic expressions in which the power of each variable in each term is a non-negative integer.
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. You can listen.
So we consider each term and we check whether the power of each variable in each term is a non-negative integer. That is, the power of each variable in each term is a whole number. So it is a non-negative integer or a whole number. So whole numbers are numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. All the non-negative integers are whole numbers. And there is something called the degree of a polynomial. When we consider a polynomial which has just one variable, then the degree of that polynomial is the greatest power of a variable in the polynomial. So we consider each term of the
Class, I'll come.
polynomial and we see what is the greatest power of a variable in any term of the polynomial and call it to be the degree of the polynomial. Let us try and understand it with the help of some examples. First, we need to check whether this is a polynomial or not, and if it is a polynomial, we will calculate the degree of this polynomial. So, a polynomial is an expression in which power of each variable in each term is a non-negative integer. So, variable here is x. We consider this term. Power of x is 4. Power of x here is 3. Power of x here is 2. And power of x here is 1. So the power of variable in each term is a non-negative integer. So yes, this is a polynomial. And what is the degree of this polynomial? Degree is the greatest power of a variable. So what is the greatest power? Greatest power is 4. Among 1, 2, 3 and 4, greatest power is 4. So the degree of this polynomial is 4. Now let us consider this expression 139. we see that there is no variable here. Consider this expression 139 into y to the power 0. So 139 into y to the power 0. Now what is the power of variable in each term? There is only one term and the power of variable in that term is 0. Is 0 a non-negative integer? Yes, 0 is a non-negative integer. So this is a polynomial. But what is y to the power 0? Y to the power 0 is into 1, which is equal
ఇంకా ಬತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದೆ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ
and if
ಲೆಕ್ಕಕ್ಕೆ ಬತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನು ಇಲ್ಲ ತಿರ್ಗಾ ಬಂದ್ಲು ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬಂತು
Manoj, please mute your audio.
polynomial. So in essence, this 139 can be written as 139 into y to the power 0 or 139 into x to the power 0 or 139 into a to the power 0. We can assume any variable raised to the power 0 here. So this is a polynomial. And what is the degree of this polynomial? The greatest power of a variable. So it just has one term and the power of variable in that term is 0. So degree of this polynomial is 0. And such polynomials with degree 0 are called constant polynomials. Now let us consider a third example. 5y cube minus 7y square plus 8 by y. What is the power of variable in each term? Power of y here is 3. Power of y here is 2. In this case, y is being divided. So we write it as 8 into y to the power minus 1. So power of y here is negative 1. So is the power of each variable a non-negative integer? No. Over here, the power of y is a negative integer, which is negative 1. So this is not a polynomial. Note that this is a trinomial. That is, it is an expression containing 3 terms, but it does not qualify as a polynomial. Next, we consider this. Let us see what is the power of x in each term. The power of x here is 2. The power of x here is 3 by 2. And we do not have a variable here. So is the power of x a non-negative integer? Well, this 3 by 2 is not an integer. So this is not a polynomial. So this expression is not a polynomial. Let us look at this expression. 0 into a cube plus 2a square minus 5a minus 4. Now what does 0 into a cube mean? 0 into anything is 0. So we can simply forget this term. We only consider this term. So 2 into a to the power 2. Power of variable here is 2. Power of variable here is 1. So the power of variable in each term is a non-negative integer. So this is a polynomial. And what is the degree of this polynomial? We look at the highest power. The highest power is 2. Note that it is not 3 because we ignored this term. It is 0. So the highest power is 2 and hence the degree of this polynomial is 2. Now these were polynomials in a single variable. Each of them had just one variable. We can have polynomials with more than one variables as well. So in those polynomials as well, power of each variable in each term will be a non-negative integer or a whole number. Now how do we calculate the degree of polynomials with two variables? For calculating the degree of polynomials with two variables, we take the sum of power of variables on negative integer.
Now I stop the video here. I'll come back to the stop share. Now why I stopped it here is we are not going to be worried about polynomials with more than one variable now. So I played the video because I wanted to recall and tell you what is a polynomial. When do we say an expression becomes a polynomial? And once we have identified or said an expression has become a polynomial, because it should qualify with that condition that none of its variables will have powers which are non-negative. Mean it should not be any, it should be only non-negative integers, it should not be any other fraction. Give me 1 minute, let me add these two. Yeah. So then we also focused on the degree of the polynomial, which is the highest power of the variable in the given polynomial. It may have 2 or 3 terms. Depending on that, you have to check which is the highest power of the variable and hence decide on the degree. Now next what we will be seeing is called the zero of the polynomial. This also we have seen it in the last class. In 9th standard we have calculated how to find the zero of a polynomial, or we also used to check whether a given value can become the zero of a polynomial or not. So this we will quickly again revise with respect to one more video, which I shall share now. So please listen to that so that we are able to get back to the revisiting of these things. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, that is not selecting. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, it should not exiting. Just give me 2 minutes. I don't know. It's got hung. My laptop is creating a problem. All right. Still people are getting added. This is another nuisance for me. Real nuisance only, I should say. Okay, now I shall play this video also. I may not be playing the complete video because I want only a few things to be revisited.
We have already learned how to evaluate an expression. In order to evaluate an expression, we substitute the value of a constant in place of variable in the expression and then simplify it. So if a is a constant here,
Is it audible?
Yes, ma'am.
and we need to evaluate px at x equal to a, we can do it by substituting a in place of x in the polynomial, and we denote it as PA. So PA denotes PX evaluated at x equal to A.
This is what we call as the value of a polynomial. When I substitute a given integer in the place of x in Px, then what I will be getting is P of A, which is called the value of the given polynomial P of x at A. So P of A andre immediately you must understand I have substituted A in the place of x in the given polynomial P of x. So if P of x is given as x square plus 2x plus 3, then wherever you have x in the polynomial, that will be substituted with A. And what you will be getting as the final expression will be your P of A, or it is called the value of the given polynomial P of x at A.
A is a constant here. Similarly, P2 denotes the value of Px at x equal to 2. P negative 4 denotes the value of Px at x equal to negative 4. So these are simply the notations for Px evaluated at these constants. Now what is PA? We know Px is equal to x square plus 4x plus 9. It is given to us. So in order to calculate PA, we need to evaluate Px at x equal to A. That is, we need to substitute A in place of x in this polynomial? A is a constant here. So let us substitute a in place of x. So we get a square plus 4 into a plus 9. So we can write it as a square plus 4a plus 9. This is PA. We denote it by PA. What about P3? Now we substitute 3 in place of x. So x square becomes 3 whole square plus 4 into 3 plus 9. Now 3 square is 9. 4 into 3 is 12 plus 9. 9 plus 12 is 21. 21 plus 9 is 30. So we get a constant here. So P3 is equal to 30. So P3 is nothing but this polynomial Px evaluated at x equal to 3. And the value of P3 is equal to 30. Or we can say that P3 is a notation for 30. Now, can you find Q negative 1 if it is given that Qt is this? So, what is the meaning of Q negative 1? Q negative 1 stands for Qt evaluated at t equal to negative 1. T equal to negative 1. That is, we need to put negative 1 in place of t in this expression. So, Q negative 1 is equal to negative 1 to the power 4 minus 3. Instead of tq, we need to write negative 1q plus 5t square. So we have 5 into negative 1 whole square. This is what we have. And we can simplify it. Negative 1 to the power 4 is 1. Minus 3 into negative 1 whole cube is negative 1. Negative 3 into negative 1 is plus 3. 5 into negative 1 whole square is 1. So 5 into 1 is 5. So we get 1 plus 3 plus 5, which is 9. So Q negative 1 is equal to 9. This is Qt evaluated at t equal to negative 1. Now Px is given as x minus 2. So can you find P2? In order to find P2, we simply need to substitute 2 in place of x. So we get 2 minus 2, which is equal to 0. So P2 is 2 minus 2, which is equal to 0. So 2 is called the zero of polynomial Px. Why? Because when we substitute 2 in place of x in this polynomial, we get 0 as the value. So 2 is called the zero of polynomial Px.
So I hope you understand what is the zero of a polynomial. We are just revising this once again to tell why it is the zero of the polynomial. All right. So at that value, that is if p of 2 becomes 0, it means 2 is the zero of this p of x. So that value of x for which p of x becomes equal to 0 is called the zero of the polynomial. This we have discussed in class 9 also. So I'll skip a few portion of this video and I reach another position. Here now you can watch.
What do we mean by a zero of a polynomial? The zero of a polynomial is that value of t at which this becomes 0. So the value of t at which this becomes 0. So we can write that 0 is a value of t such that pt equal to 0. Since pt is equal to 2t minus 3, we can say that 0 is that value of t such that 2t minus 3 equal to 0. Now this is a linear equation in one variable. We have learned how to solve a linear equation in one variable. So we can solve it to get t is equal to 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 is the 0 of this polynomial. If we substitute t is equal to 3 by 2 in this polynomial, we get 0. Note that 0 is the value of t. That is, 0 of any polynomial refers to the value of the variable.
So I hope you understand what she is trying to say. So how do we find whether a given integer is a zero of a polynomial or not? What we have to do, just equate the entire polynomial to zero and find out that value of the variable for which it is going to become zero. See, you have taken p of t is equal to 2t minus 3. So I equate 2t minus 3 to become equal to 0 and hence find t is equal to 3 by 2. So 3 by 2 is the 0 of this given polynomial p of t. Because always it is not possible that we go and substitute the integers in p of t to find out the final value is coming out to be 0 or not. By trial and error, we can try for 2-3 numbers, but we can't keep on trying for all the numbers to find out or to reach the 0 of the polynomial. You understand? So there is a general way in which you can find the 0 of a polynomial, that is, take the polynomial itself, equate it to 0, that means make the right hand side as 0, and then go and find out the value of the variable by solving that equation. That value of the variable will exactly become the 0 of the polynomial. All right. So this is something that we are trying to recall only. We have not learned anything new yet. We are only trying to recall all that we have done in class 9. So I think I'll still skip the video and reach another position here now.
We can find the root or the solution of this equation, qx equal to 0. What is qx? Qx is negative 7x. So we need to solve for negative 7x is equal to 0. Dividing both sides by negative 7, we get x is equal to 0 divided by negative 7. 0 divided by negative 7 is 0. So this becomes 0 at x equal to 0. So 0 is the 0 of qx.
Now I hope you understand why I have chosen this problem. This problem is chosen because
So for
I want to show you that always the zeros of a polynomial need not be integers alone. It can be 0 also. Now, because in this problem, the value of x is 0 itself. That means 0, which is also an integer, is the 0 of q of x. So it is very important. See, you may always think I should have values greater than 0 or less than 0 to tell it is the 0 of a given polynomial. Not always true. 0 can also become the 0 of any given polynomial. So this is a very important learning point that we did again in class 9. I'm just trying to recall those things again.
this polynomial, the constant number 0 is the 0 of qx. Now can you
Now these are all important questions. I think you should make a note of all this in your notebook. We did this last year also, but for arguments, it is always better that you write this down in the notebook, right? Maybe you can do it after the class also, not in a hurry now.
answer this question? When can 0 be the 0 of a polynomial? Always, never, or none of the other choices? Now, when can 0 be the 0 of a polynomial? Let us evaluate the choices one by one. Always. We have seen that 0 is not the 0 of a polynomial always. Other numbers could also be the 0 of a polynomial. So this option is incorrect. Never. We have seen that when we had qx is equal to negative 7x, the 0 of this polynomial was 0. Because if we substitute x equal to 0, we get negative 7 into 0, which is 0. So we get the 0 as the 0 of this polynomial. So even this option is incorrect. So the correct answer is none of the other choices. Now, how many zeros can be there in a linear polynomial? So this is the general form of a linear polynomial. If
Now here you have to be very, very attentively listening, because the next part is what is the geometrical representation of the zeros of a polynomial. Now here we are just trying to find out how many zeros a given polynomial can have, because there are many varieties of polynomials. We start with the constant polynomial, then we have the linear polynomial, then we move on to the quadratic polynomial, and so on to the cubic polynomial also. All right. So these are varieties of polynomials based on their degrees. All right. That's why I did the recall of the degree. A linear polynomial means its degree is 1. That means the value of the highest power of a given variable in a polynomial, if it is equal to 1, then it is a linear polynomial. Similarly, when the degree of a polynomial is 2, it becomes a quadratic polynomial. And when the degree is 3, it will become a cubic polynomial. And so on it goes. So, all right. So, based on the variety of the polynomial, we should also know how many zeros it will have. Now, here we will try to argue algebraically, but the next part we will see how the zeros of the polynomial can be found using the geometrical representation or by graphing these polynomials. All right.
x is equal to ax plus b, in order to find the 0, we need to solve for ax plus b is equal to 0. Solving this is a linear equation in one variable. So we have ax is equal to negative b, that is transposing b to the right hand side. We get ax is equal to negative b. Now we need to divide both the sides by a. So x is equal to negative b by a. Now this is a constant term. Since b is a constant, a is a constant, this is a constant, negative b by a. So we can have just one value of 0 for a linear polynomial. So a linear polynomial has 1 0, which is given by negative b by a, where b is the constant term and a is the coefficient of x. So every linear polynomial has 1 0, negative b by a. Now check whether 1 and negative 1 are the zeros of px. So 0 is defined.
Now I skipped that portion because that I don't want to solve now. Now next, going to the zero of a constant polynomial. Please listen carefully.
At that as that value of the variable at which the polynomial becomes 0. So we need to have 5 equal to 0. Now, is this ever possible to have 5 is equal to 0? No, it is never possible to have 5 equal to 0. So we can never have this. So there is no 0 of a constant polynomial. So constant polynomial does not have any 0. That is, there is no value of the variable at which it will become 0. So constant polynomial has no 0. What is the 0 of a 0 polynomial? This is the 0 polynomial. What is the 0 of this polynomial? Well, we can write it as 0 into x to the power n. Now we can have any number as x. We can have any real number as x. So we can have 0 into 1 to the power anything, 0 into negative 3 by 2 to the power anything. All these will always give 0. So whatever number we may take will always get 0. So we say that every real number is the 0 of a 0 polynomial. So every real number is a zero of the zero polynomial. So it has infinite number of zeros because every real number is a zero of the zero polynomial.
So I hope you understood what she was trying to say there. So I think we are almost running out of time now. We will rejoin the session with the same link again. So we have already discussed the zeros of the polynomial, whether it is a constant polynomial or a linear polynomial or a zero polynomial itself. Now the next session, what we are going to see is what is the geometrical meaning of the zero of a polynomial. This is exactly what we shall see in the next session. So join in another 2 minutes without much delay.